Hi, welcome to another episode of Budget MTG Decks. I'm David.
I'm Stefan.
And today we're sitting here all casual-like in our vlog format to discuss which guild you should pick for your next pre-release, and that is going to be Ravnica Allegiance, which is coming up. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at each guild individually, discussing the mechanic, and looking at a few common and uncommon cards that you should look out for if you are in that guild. And then we're going to finalize it off by talking about which guilds we're going to be playing from most favorite to least favorite. It depends which one we think are most powerful. So we're going to start off with the first guild, and that is Azorius Senate. The mechanic is Addendum, which means that spells do something extra if you cast them in your main phase. So that means that usually you can play them instant speed because they're either instant spells or have something that has flash. But should you choose to cast them in your main phase, you'll get a little bonus. Stefan, you have an example for us.
Summary Judgment is a card, costs 1 and a white, instant. Summary Judgment deals 3 damage to target tapped creature. And Addendum, if you cast this spell during your main phase, it deals 5 damage to that creature instead. And it's really nice because 3 damage is a lot, instant speed, but for 5 damage, if you play it in your main phase, you can get rid of that big creature your opponent controls.
Yeah.
And I like Addendum because it just gives you an extra layer of choice that you have to choose. What can you do? What will I have to do to get the most value out of something?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the most difficult guild to play because already Azorius is not known for having the biggest creatures, so you've got to be smart when you're playing. It does have some evasion, and the Addendum is a mechanic which rewards people to really know when you want to be getting that extra benefit and when you want to be using something instant speed so that so you get the most benefit out of that. And I think that smart players are going to be able to get a lot of advantage out of this, but sometimes it's just going to be really difficult. So it's going to take a lot of effort to play this guild. So a few cards to look out for. The first one is Law Mage's Binding for 1, a white, and a blue. So for 3 mana, it's a flash aura, which is going to be enchanting a creature, and then that creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated anymore. So this is basically an instant speed arrest, and this is really premium removal. This hits everything you want to hit. It completely shuts it down. And it's only for 3 mana at common, so yeah, that's really beautiful.
Instant speed is really nice.
Yeah,
I'm really surprised that it is instant speed.
That's beautiful.
Swings of the New Path, 2 blue and 2 white for 4/3 swings with flying and vigilance, and spells your opponent cast that target swings of the New Path cost 2 more to cast. 4 mana 4/3 flying is really nice. It's a lot of power in the air, decent toughness, and it has a bit of protection on its own. So I think this is a really good bomb.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about the double white and double blue because these sets are built around being able to play multiple colors. Yeah. We've got our mana fixing, we've got our lockets, we've got our gates. So I'm not too concerned. If you can't play this on turn 4, you probably can't play it on turn 5 anyway. And to have that on turn 5 would also just be really beautiful. The evasion makes sure that you're dealing 4 damage, which is huge. I'm already happy when a flying creature is able to do 3 damage, and 4 is just extra gravy on top of that. And the 4 toughness and vigilance means that it really shuts down our opponent's 2/2s.
3 toughness.
Sorry, 3 toughness and vigilance means that our opponent's 2/2s will have difficulty attacking into us, even while we're just hitting them with the Sphinx every single turn. Yeah. So I think that's really beautiful.
I think with Ravnica, it's really easy to play 3-color decks, and if you play one of those cards that has 2 blue and 2 white, it makes it really difficult and makes you dedicate to one guild.
Yeah. What's also I really like about the fact that the spells that they want to target cost 2 extra means that a lot of the very good common uncommon removal is very expensive to cast. It's not uncommon to have to pay 5 mana for removal, but let's say 4 mana to be able to hit something. People want to hit this evasion creature because it's killing them. And they may, this comes down turn 4, they may have, maybe their turn 4, they have something that costs 4, but they won't be able to hit your flyer for another 2 turns. And that's if they even hit all their land drops. Yeah. So that really buys you a lot of time, that extra 2 more to cast that stuff.
Exactly. Last example is Azorius Skyguard for a blue and a white. It's a 3/3 human knight with flying and first strike, and creatures your opponent controls get -1, -0. which is really nice because normally Azorius I expect it to be taxing attacking creatures, but this time they always get that -1, -0.
Yeah, I really like the fact, of course, you get your evasion, you get your 3 damage in the air, and the fact that it just nerfs your opponent's entire board. And as we will see later, in this set, there's a lot of creatures that are going to be 1/1s, people making a lot of tokens, and it shuts basically all of those out. And that is going to be huge.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Then we move on to the next mechanic, and that is the next guild, that's the Simic Combine, and their mechanic is Adapt X. We're going to put X counters on a creature, and if it didn't already have counters. So that's actually very reminiscent of the Monstrous. Yeah, the Monstrous mechanic, which also allowed us to put counters on it one time. But this one is different in the sense that we can actually put we can adapt a creature multiple times if we have ways of removing counters.
And it's instant speed.
And it's also instant speed, which is actually very important.
Yeah. So the
example card
card is Trollblade Guardian, 4 and a green. It's a 5/5 12-4 warrior, which is really nice. So 5 mana 5/5, but with 2 and a green adapt 2, so it can get bigger. And each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample, so it also is a buff for the rest of your team.
This is gonna be absolutely brutal. Even if you don't have the rest of a team, let's say being able to put this on turn 5, you've got a 5/5 blocker on your turn, and then on turn 6, you will be able to adapt this thing, and you're attacking with a 7/7 trampler.
That's nice.
That has got bomb written all over it, and that's going to be really hard to deal with. So, Stefan, what are some of the cards that we want to be looking out for?
Incubation, it's a hybrid green and blue sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it onto your hand, or put the rest of them on the bottom of your library in a random order. Looking at the top 5 cards is really nice because you want to search for your bombs, and 5 cards in a limit deck is a lot. Yeah. But the reason why we actually want to play this is for incongruity. 1 green and a blue, instant speed, exile target creature. That creature's controller creates a 3/3 green frog lizard creature token. But we don't really care about the 3/3 lizard because we removed their bomb, the thing that will win them game, and we exiled it.
Yeah, there's no way around that, and usually going to be hitting, a 4/4 flyer, for example, with this. Now all of a sudden, that thing doesn't have evasion anymore, and on a board stall, having an extra 3/3 does nothing for them. The next card to really look out for if you are in Simic is Shark to Crab for 2, a green and a blue. So for 4 mana, we get a 4/4 Fish Octopus Crab. So already we're getting a really good deal. A 4/4 for 4, very happy with that. But it also has Adapt for 2 green and a blue. So for another 4, we could put a +1/+1 counter on it, making it a 5/5. And whenever we put a +1/+1 counter on this guy, we can tap target creature an opponent controls, and that thing won't untap in his control's next untap step. What's important to note is that, of course, this thing comes in, turn 4, turn 5, we turn it into a 5/5 attack with it, and of course make sure that they can't block with whatever thing might have been able to kill it, or maybe none of it can kill it, but you just make sure that their chump blocker can't block, so they have to use something a little more chunky. And every time we put a +1/+1 counter on it via some other way, so it doesn't have to adapt, but if you just put +1/+1 counters on it some other way, it's going to be able to do that tap thing every single time, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Galloping Lizwalk. 3 green and a blue. It's a 3/3 frog lizard with trample, and when Galloping Lizwalk enters the battlefield, you may remove any number of +1/+1 counters from among creatures you control. If you do, put twice as many +1/+1 counters on Galloping Lizwalk. Which means you're playing Simic, you have a lot of adapt creatures, so probably 1-2 counters at least. If you have the Shark-Toed Crab, that means you can use that ability again, and this guy is a 5/5. It's only with these 2. Yeah. And that's so insane because it grows exponentially. It grows so fast, so big, and it's already a decent body with trample.
Yeah, and other than a lot of the other Simic creatures that we might have that might be growing very large, this one has trample on it, which makes it so much stronger. Being able to have this thing already with just worst case scenario, let's say we just remove 1 counter, it becomes a 5/5 trampler on turn 5. That is actually really insane. And people, they can't even chop block that anymore. That thing's going to just keep on plowing through and dealing so much damage. And, if they do want to kill it with a creature, they're either going to need, their bomb, which is going to also be like a 5/5 or something, or they need to throw multiple creatures in front of it, and that's going to give you card advantage. That is it for the Simic Combine. Stefan, what's the next guild?
The Gruul Clans. And the mechanic is Riot. You can choose between a +1/+1 counter on your creature or haste when it enters the battlefield. So what's the example?
We have Zurtal Goblin for a red and a green. So for 2 mana, we get a 2/2 Goblin Berserker, but it has Riot, which means that when it enters the battlefield, either put a +1/+1 counter on it or it has haste. So you may think, okay, I'm going for a super aggressive build. Turn 2, bam, it comes in, I'm already dealing 2 damage. But in the long run of the game, the question is that really going to help you? I think it's going to help you more if you just pop it down and you got a 3/3 on turn 2, and on turn 3 already attacking with a 3/3. I think that's going to be able to do more damage throughout the game than just having 2/2 hit one time extra.
Yeah, I think a 2 mana 3/3 is really powerful.
Yeah, I think the last time we saw that was we have a Watch Wolf, of course, which was in Selesnya colors for 3/3. And we have, of course, I think it was Mono. No, it was also Selesnya.
Also Selesnya, yeah.
Colors, I think. Be a sorcery that was able to put down a 3/3 Centaur token. Exactly.
Yeah. So, and this one isn't even Selesnya.
Isn't even Selesnya, yeah.
So we have a couple cards that we really like. A Collision, 1 and a hybrid red and a green. Instant Collision deals 6 damage to target creature with flying. Especially in Gruul colors, that's really nice to get rid of a flyer. Instant speed for 6 damage, which can kill anything.
Yeah.
Colossus, red and a green. Instant target creature gets +4/+2 against trample at the end of turn. We are being aggressive, and that's a lot of power and a bit of toughness.
Yeah, I really like this Colossus part of it because we can be attacking with, let's say, a 2/2. And they may think, I've got my 6/6. That's, their huge bomb. They're like, I'll block. And then instant speed, bam, now all of a sudden you killed their thing. And if they block with anything smaller, let's say like a 4/4 or a 5/5, your thing probably won't survive because it only gives you the +2 to the toughness. But it's just not only going to kill their bomb that they were hoping to just smack your face in with, but also just any excess damage is going to go through because it gives trample as well. So I think that's really nice.
So both of these modes I think is really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we have a Sunder Shaman for 2 red and 2 green. We've got a 5/5 for 4 mana. And it also can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. So every time they have to block it with a single creature. And after turn 4, for them to have a single creature that's going to be able to kill this 5/5 is very unrealistic. And this also, whenever this thing deals damage to a player, we're going to destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Might not be, super relevant most of the time. People are going to be playing Lockets, so you can at least hope to be able to hit something like that every now and then. But just 5 damage.
Yeah, it's a good creature with just upside.
Yeah. I think the fact that they can't, use multiple creatures to block it, it's really going to be a big problem for people to stop this thing.
Next one is Bulwark Clan Crusher. It's 3 red and a green. It's a 4/4 Ogre Warrior, which is pretty nice. And tap, remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control. Bulwark Clan Crusher deals 2 damage to any target. I really like this because we have this Riot, but I really also love this card because it really combines really well with Simic.
Yeah.
And you can just get rid of your counter of your Shark to Crab, and then you can tap something again, pump your Shark to Crab, and then do 2 damage to something again.
Yeah. And even if you don't want to splash, there are Simic cards that are in mono green, for example. So then you don't have to...
Why would someone not want to splash?
Okay, I forgot that Stefan, of course, has to play 5 colors every single time. So I'm sorry that I forgot about that. I was trying to, get into the mindset of maybe normal people who might want to also, be able to play the game every now and then. But yeah, you could splash all the colors. I'm just saying that, if you really want to stick to those 2 colors, you can still have the adapt mechanic.
Yeah, there are also adapt cards in mono green, so that's really nice.
Yeah. Then we're going to move on to the cult
Bless
of Rakdos. I needed to have a little bit of a build up right there.
For a spectacle.
Or I'm allergic to Rakdos. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so Cult of Rakdos is the next guild, and the mechanic is Spectacle. Alternate casting cost if your opponent lost life this turn. So, Stephen, what's a good example of a spectacle?
Skewer the Critics. 2 and a red sorcery with Spectacle of Red. Skewer the Critics deals 3 damage to any target. Which means for 3 mana, already 3 damage is decent. But if they lost life this turn, then you can do it for 1 mana.
Yeah, and that's basically just Lightning Bolt, which, as we know already, is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So this is a very good example of that. You're dealing damage, and you're getting stuff for cheaper. And of course, Rakdos likes. This is the kind of guild that likes to be super aggressive, come in early, small creatures, deal tons of damage, ping, that kind of stuff, and you're gonna have plenty of ways of also dealing damage without doing combat. So then, Screw the Critics, for example, you always have a way to cast it for cheaper, even if you can't get through combat-wise.
But that's what I also like about Rakdos. They have a lot of cards that just incidentally deal damage, and it will give you a lot of reach in that sense.
Yeah, especially later on those board stalls. All right, first good example of a card to look out for if you're in Rakdos is Acrobat for 1, a black and a red. So for 3 mana, it is a 2/3 human rogue with Spectacle, black and red. So this thing can already come in for 2 mana. Additionally, so 2 mana, 2/3 is already very nice. That's really, really strong. And additionally, we can also pay a black to give it Death Touch until the end of turn, and we can also pay a red to give it +2, -2 until the end of turn. So this thing does so much and so many points of the game. We always said a card is good when it's good early, a card is good when you can use it also late game, and this thing has that because early, you know, it can stop all those 2/2s, but also early, it can come in and swing for 4 damage. Late game, people come with their bombs. Okay, block it, give it Death Touch, I kill your bomb. So this is, yeah, beautiful.
It's really nice. Rakdos Fire Wheeler, 2 black and 2 red. It's a 4/3 human rogue. When he enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to any opponent and 2 damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. It does a lot of things you want. You do damage to the face, you do damage to a creature, and it's a 4/3. So I like it.
Yeah, it's very important for me that it has that 3 toughness, that it doesn't die to those 2/2s, because that, you know, that would really set it in a different category for me if it would die to 2/2s. But the 3 toughness really makes a big difference. And then the last of the Rakdos cards is Get the Point for 3, a black and a red. So for 5 mana, it is an instant destroy target creature, scry 1. This is premium tier 1 level removal. You can kill anything you want. You can kill it instant speed, and additionally it allows to, you know, look, see if we want to go dig for our next bomb or next premium piece of removal.
We've seen cheaper removal in the other colors, but still removal is removal and unconditional. So
yeah. Then we have the last of the guilds, and the mechanic is Afterlife X.
It's the Orzhov Syndicate.
Orzhov Syndicate. It is that's white and black. It's got Afterlife X. Put X white and black spirit tokens with flying on the battlefield after your creature dies. So, Stefan, what's a good example of that?
Ministrant of Obligation. 2 and a white. It's a 2/1 human cleric with Afterlife 2. So a 2/1 for 3 mana, not that great, but if he dies, you get 2 1/1 flyers, which is not bad.
I think this is actually going to do quite a bit of work, because it does come in early enough already so that your opponents, let's say your opponent put a 2/2 down on turn 2, and then when it's in your turn 3, you play this, and then their 2/2s basically can't attack anymore, because you're going to not only trade, but then you've got 2 flyers in the air that you can use to attack them with, and they might not, you know, have any way to deal with 2 power and toughness in the air so early on in the game. Good card to look out for is Final Payment for 1 white and 1 black. So for 2 mana, it's an instant. We're going to destroy target creature, but we also have to pay an additional 5 life or sacrifice a creature or enchantment in order to be able to play this. So yeah, it's super cheap. It's instant speed. We can sack a tiny little creature. Let's say somebody's attacking us with something. We block. we chump block, we sacrifice it, and then we kill their bomb. That's an ideal scenario. Or they've got, a big 5/5 trampler that they're going to be attacking with. Then it doesn't matter. We're just going to, pay the 5 life, because otherwise we'd get hit by that anyway. Sack it, and then sack it, destroy it, and then we continue on with the game. So I think that's going to be very strong, and that at common.
Yeah, 5 life is a lot, but if you're against 6/6, 7/7 and you destroy it, I think you're still winning that then.
Yeah.
Mortify, 1 white and a black, instant, destroy target creature or enchantment, instant speed, removal. I love it.
This is the dream right there if you're playing, if you're going to be playing. And then the last of the cards to look out for is Consecrate and Consume. First part, Consecrate for 1 and a hybrid mana, white or black. So for 2 mana, it's an instant. We're going to exile target card from a graveyard, draw a card. Sure, later on in the game, you could use it to kind of dig if you want to dig for something. But the real reason why we have it in here is for the consume part. For 2, a white and a black. It's a sorcery. Target player sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among the creatures they control, and you gain life equal to its power. So you're always hitting that bomb pretty much. You're always hitting that huge, huge monster, and you're gaining a bunch of life as well on top of that. So that brings you back in the game. For only 4 mana. Sure, it's too bad that it's sorcery speed. It's still a very strong card though.
It is very strong.
Yeah.
And you can see why I like Orzhov as much also, because we've just highlighted 3 really cool Orzhov cards, and it's just really, really good removal.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why Orzhov is also the build that's on top of my list.
All right, so let's talk about the what our favorite guilds are, going from most favorite to least favorite. Stefan, you already gave a little bit of a hint of what your favorite guild is for this set, what you should be playing.
I like Orzhov a lot because of the afterlife and just all the removal. And then I like Simic because Simic has some evasion creatures, some really big creatures. And I like Azorius because it still has a lot of flyers and removal. And then I like Gruul. And then Rakdos. And to be honest, I think Gruul Rakdos is a bit of a toss-up.
All right. For me, my favorite guild that I want to start out playing, that I recommend that people play, is Orzhov. The first one, the premium removal means that you can just get rid of all the best stuff that your opponent has. And what I really like about the afterlife mechanic is that people need to remove creatures twice which have afterlife, because you got your creature, they got to find a way to kill it, either trades or they got to use premium removal on it. But then they still get a little 1/1 flyer, and you could say, okay, whatever, I'll just leave that. But that thing's attacking every single turn and doing, a tiny little bit of damage. But in the end, that is, a bunch of flyers do win the game. So they have to find a way to deal with that. There are a few cards in the set that do 1 point of damage to all creatures, which is something to look out for. But I think all in all, having a bunch of creatures that become 1/1 flyers later on and deal damage is going to be very nice. The next guild that is my favorite is also Simic, actually, in that order. I think the adapt mechanic and the counters, putting the counters on and making creatures bigger than anybody else's creatures, plus we're usually getting effects on top of that. It's not just making stuff bigger, but we're also getting benefits from that. I think that makes it very powerful, and also like that it's very easy to splash with Gruul to get that extra synergy. Then my favorite mechanic is going to be Rakdos. I think
guild.
What did I say?
Mechanic,
sorry. It's a little bit late. Anyway, lack of sleep does crazy things to a mind. But anyway, I'm still here. So my next favorite guild is going to be, you're like, he's still here, but is Rakdos. What I really like about it is the sheer number of very aggressive creatures that are not only good early because, well, you're trying to punch as much damage through as possible, but later on there are ways to have that reach where you're still shooting damage to your opponent at the board stall. There's, for example, a creature also that you can sacrifice your own creatures to deal damage to the face. Now that's just the kind of stuff that I think if you really build around it very well in your pre-release, you can kill people before they even have a chance to adapt their Simic creatures, and then you can still win the game, which is very nice. Then my next favorite mechanic is going to be
Still Guild.
Sorry. I was going to say my next favorite mechanic was Riot, but okay. My next favorite guild is Gruul. Why? I think they're going to have very big creatures, very aggressively costed creatures, and also because it's very nice that you can again also add a little bit of the Simic cards in there as well. And then the final card, no, I'm not saying card, the final guild is going to be Azorius. Not because I think it doesn't have a lot of potential. I think it's got a lot of access to good flyers, which is why it's also, I think, pretty easy to splash some of the Orzhov cards in there because they have some flying synergy. It's got some, give all your flyers +1/+0, give all your flyers +0/+1, that kind of stuff. So that synergizes well there. But what I don't like about the addendum mechanic is that it makes the game more tricky to play, because if you don't choose the right option of your addendum, you're actually getting less value than you could. And these cards are designed that you're supposed to get the best value out of it in every scenario. And that's not always going to be very easy. So that's why I think I would choose Azorius last. Sam, do you have anything else to say about this upcoming pre-release? You're going to do 5, right?
No, I was contemplating it, but I think I'm gonna stick to 2 or 3.
Okay, yeah. I'm probably also going to see if I can do 2. I don't think I'm going to do 3, but so I'll probably be picking Orzhov and Simic for those 2, and you're going to be going Orzhov, Simic, and
Azorius?
Azorius, okay. You like a challenge?
Yeah.
Very good, okay. Well, that is it from us. Thanks for watching. I'm David.
I'm Stefan.
This was Budget MTG Decks.